exciting over to Seattle, but I was born in the 1950s. I'm getting a bit long in the tooth for long distance air travel. I find it very difficult to think about those sorts of things now. It doesn't really float my boat. A bit like FTA, really. I'll probably do FTA. I have the capability of doing it here. I just never got around to doing it. But yeah, it's all good fun, and we focus on the things that we enjoy, and we go to the places that we like. So yeah, hopefully you like up there, and hopefully you'll come back again. I can't guarantee I'll be here this time, whereas this wasn't 118 over here, so it's unusual for me up at this time, but yeah, it doesn't matter what time I go to bed, so it's been thoroughly enjoying meeting you for the first time, Chip, and hopefully it won't be the last. So I'll say 7-3s, or as I normally say over here, cheers and beers, Chip, and we'll catch you further down. 20 LRV.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta take off from work, and you know your husband works, so do what you can. And he works at a pizza place, and he's a manager there, so hopefully you can bring in enough money to support you for a while. But she cleans houses for a living, and that's really not good for her either. You know, sitting there cleaning houses every day, lifting, you know, running the sweeper and all that stuff, taking trash out. It's not good for her, but she's never going to change jobs, she said, so.
It was 82 out. Bathroom renovation's finished. Got to see that when I went home, had lunch late, and came back. And I'm going to be here a little while longer, so I don't get to find out what Becky's having for dinner until I get home. And then tomorrow, well, happy hour is just going to be a break in between because that's when I start the next 12-hour work window. It's going to be a long day, Thursday and Friday. Otherwise, kind of windy here. Starting to pick up the evening trade winds again. I'm happy for those. We do have my purple air out on the sunroom, so I actually get outside air on it differently. But I'm not near a dashboard where I can check it tonight. That's the newest feature. And I've been doing an audit on my 2.4 gig Internet of Stuff wireless things at home. And I got a bunch of them, so I'm going to have to put a second router in for all of the 2.4 things on one side and have all the 5 gig things happier and faster on the other side. But that's my radio for the day. And thanks to you, OW, back to N5GB.
We'll start getting filmed there probably, but hopefully they can get that job done. Your back starts getting filmed there. But yeah, like I told her, you know, I told her the same stuff she's going to have to do. And she goes to all these different car practices, or whatever we call them. And some can help her, some can't. So I said, you know, I keep paying these people to help me with my back and stuff. And they really don't help me that much. I said, well, like I told you, you're going to do one of the others. Either have a nerve burn off down there, or your back is giving me a problem. Because her neck hurts so bad now, because it's all the way up to her neck now. And that just started here, probably about 2 months ago. She's having the pain up by her neck, and she goes from her leg all the way up to her neck now. So, yeah, hopefully she'll get something done before long there.
On that, I don't even know if Calcareous works because you just don't need it. It's got the full database in. Pretty cool indeed. I love it. It's my baby. I love it. Everybody that's rocking DMR should get one. Just have some fun because it's a big little radio. I don't know too much about the big antenna. How's that antenna? Did you get the package with the 2 antennas? That bigger antenna on it is just ridiculous. But the small little compact antenna, like you said, it's like a glove in your hand. And yeah, I'm probably going to get another one. And yeah, every time you are having DMR contacts, like full recording of it, you can export the recordings as well, so it records everything. So if you come across if someone says something, you can just go back and replay it. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I love it. It's a great little DMR radio. VK1JT from VK6STX.
that will get you into it. Password, and he'll go through this at the end of the net, but the password is PNW Digital, all lowercase, just like the URL. So I rummaging around in my shopping cart with the sign waving it into traffic. Who else for the happy hour net? This is November 5, Golf Bravo.
Just take your time. I told you, just take your time, man. Tell people, you gotta take your time. So I really don't want to tell them I got back problems, so they may get rid of me. So I understand that too. So just, take your time, do what you gotta do. Most of the time, the people are not home either. Anyway, they're usually at work. So I suppose we're at work, I wouldn't worry about it. Just take your time, sit down when you got to, and hopefully you'll get through the house and be done with it.
Ever since this thing arrived, this radio came from the US. It went all across the US to get here. It stopped in at Honolulu. Stopped in there for 2 days, 3 days. So it's been more places than I have, this little radio, from China to the US. And there you go. I don't know if you heard that. Got the repeater going. It's actually functioning today. It sounds amazing. Yeah, you sound great now. Did you put it on the low power setting, 200 milliwatts? Back to you.
Well, my antenna's up on the big tower, and I'm going to get the 6 meter back up there and on here. And it should be nice and quiet now for duplex noise. Shouldn't be any problems with it at all.
Magic realm, you have already discovered. That is an interesting little thing. This net, which starts at 5 o'clock, and for those of you who have that W thing, I guess that's a little inconvenient. Normally, I will run a little longer than this, but we're here Monday through Friday on 3141 Oregon 1, and we'll always look for stories, looking for new people. So check in as much as you can. We appreciate that. Thanks for speaking up. Because I was about to shut this thing down. I really don't want to yet. So who else for the happy hour net? This is November 5, Golf Bravo.
He's been here like he's been here till 10 o'clock at night.
Get into it, I'm going to go outside and sometimes hold the radio up in the air to get a signal. I don't know, it's just the way they're designed. But all these radios are different, and they've got their own little nuances and quirks and little idiosyncrasies and whatnot. That's the beauty about it. And for someone like me who's got ADHD, I swap between radios all the time. Put one down, pick up another one, put one down, pick up another one, play with this, play with that. And with All-Star, B-Star, and DMR, mate, the world is my oyster, and I hold it in the palm of my hand.
That's a Russia okay. Yes, this is a very, very nice talk group. They're a little bit more relaxed, easy to communicate on this way. Then 91 is okay too, but rather busy. Listen, Wolfgang, I'm going to say 73 to a couple of people that would like to get in here and talk to you. My friend, I thank you very, very much for a nice Q-show, and we do hope to talk to you again. Take care. Delta Lima 8, Yankee Delta Echo. This is Whiskey 1 Victor Mike. Take care, Wolfgang, and 73. So, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think that's the official sort of spec. So, yeah, even now where I am, I can go. Let me just change the low power. Yeah, low power, 200 milliwatts. I'm accessing the local All-Star repeater. So, 200 milliwatts to access the local repeater. Pretty crazy. I've never had a radio that does 200 milliwatts before. Should extend out the battery life by a considerable margin. VK1JT from VK6SDX.
I may sound like the odd one out here, but, if someone breaks in your house, of course, and they're threatening your family, you're going to damn near kill them. You're going to do that. You really shouldn't get charged for it, but it really is wrong. If you can subdue the person, and they're laying there on the floor, and you got your foot on them, and they're not moving, you don't have a right to put the boots to them. You really don't. The police don't either, but I get it. Emotions run high.
you're an animal and a human would come out at that point when someone's breaking in your house, and you're going to fight for your family. I get it. You know, I don't think it's right to charge the homeowner either in this case, but, you know, I agree with Bart to a point. You break into this house in the middle of the night to threaten my family, all bets are off as to what's going to happen to you.
And then when I had to use the house block something else, I disconnected it from the pot, from the hat, and the pot was powering it, and it was a bit too much for it, and then killed it there. Back to you.
I am back in Bend now for a while, and using the base station. So there you go. Coming in through Grizzly. All things are pretty stable over here. We got some nice high puffy white clouds and 78 degrees, no wind, and it's just real pleasant. I got out on a patio for the happy hour, and that took about 2.5 hours. So there you go. It was pretty happy. Making lots of solar power and charging both of the EVs, no problem. I think I heard Steve in there just barely as I was driving home talking about level 3 chargers and things like that, and level 2 chargers, and level 2 overnight is just fine. Gets the vehicles all charged back up. Even if it is charging off my house battery, it works just fine. Other than that, tried putting together a dipole using some telescopic whips and a hefty balun in the middle, and that works pretty good on the boat. And I can tune anywhere from 6 to 20 meters nicely. It'll reach to 40, but not great. So that's my ham radio activity for a while. I've been out on the boat doing some of that stuff. So there you have it. I hope you can get a few more fish on the line with your cardboard sign, and that way you can stretch things out a bit. Back to you, Bruce, in 7QME.
And they were showing, I believe it was in Michigan, there was a private-owned adult trailer park. I think there's somewhere around 40 trailers in there. And people who own the park took good care of it. The monthly fees were reasonable, and, you know, they were happy. Well, then the owners of it retired and sold it to a corporation, and the corporation doubled all of their rent, and the place started going downhill. And you're right, if you're in a condo or a trailer park, you don't own the chunk of land you're sitting on. That's up to somebody else to charge you whatever the heck they want. And that isn't right. Like taxes, when you own your house, taxes have to be approved. You know, those taxes, they can't just up and raise them. They have to show you reasons why they're raising them. If they're raising them a lot, they have to give you very good reasons why. But you get new owners in a trailer park, they just double the rent. I don't know how many protections are there. But I remember seeing those seniors were very angry. Some of them had to move out.
Okay.
Like one of the newest things in these trailer parks is that your trailer's more than X number of years old. You got to replace it.
The computer, which I actually got for a bargain. So my computer now is just solely for radio, so I'm putting all radio stuff on it, and it's like one computer just for radio. I've got to sort that out because I've got that's all disorganized. I've got to clean up the room, so to speak, and put everything back the way it is. Yeah, I might be looking at a All-Star node, but not too sure yet. It's a bit of money. I'm not too impressed with All-Star functionality. There's a bit of an old school way of doing things to connect DTMF and all that, and bit of a pain to remember those extra numbers when we've got DMR, which is just like if you want to go on Grandmaster, for example, just go 505, 5053, 5051, whatever. It's very easy to remember, even VK DMR. is easy to remember. You know, it's, well, what are we on? 3803. Simple. And you don't have to remember. You don't have to remember where you're connecting or what you're not connecting to. It's all in the list. So even on DroidStar, I can connect to anything that I want to connect to. It's all in one list. I don't have to really remember all that information. So, but yeah, I'm probably not gonna actually look at, say, All-Star mode. It's a bit too much mucking around to get the thing to work and function. Even with the local node here to the repeater, I've had nothing but problems with it. So, drop conversations, grumpy old men yelling. Like yesterday, I made a bit of a mistake. Grumpy old men complaining and bitching, and I'm like, it's kind of like, All-Star's kind of like the thing for the grumpy old men. They've bought their ICOM, they've bought their little Kenwood radio, and that's it. They're sticking to it. They don't like outsiders. They don't like other people from elsewhere in the world connecting to it. It's very strange. So I'll probably leave the Grumpy Old Men Club to play Grumpy Old Men Radio on the All-Star Network. Although there are good networks out there like the East Coast Reflector, the East Coast Hub, and that was interesting to listen to there. Back to you there, John. Right.
The MAGA moron doing that, I'm thinking he's probably, well, I mean, you and I both know, we know he wants this country. He wants to steal its resources and leave the people for stupid. So this isn't the end of it. He's going to try everything and anything he can, because he's declared war on Canada, and he's going to do it. And we're going to have to fight this with everything we've got.
So I'm just turning mine on to see if mine's working okay.
It's HF and Stephen Miller making a trip to Union Station in Washington, D.C. And Miller makes a comment about the protesters, those crazy communists.
Kilo 8 Sierra Romeo Mike, can you copy me now?
That version. I'm on a Anytone, it's like a UV168. It doesn't have the GPS function in it, but yeah, they updated me with the latest firmware.
Greatest man on earth. That's why I call him Vaseline Vance. He's a crap bag. You can buy him. He sends a TYC MD380 to a 5-star hotspot. It's not let me down, so I'm doing good with that. Only been on for almost 4 months now, so I'm still learning. Been operating for half that time, not 2 months. So like I said, I'm doing really good with it. Thank you.
Sorry, Mike. I know my radio just like great, and kind of rain out here, but you guys are here, but accessing and carbon and stuff like that. That's kind of why we got our started after this too, but just realize that we're not getting any younger, and thanks to the hotspot and radio, playing radio, antennas, climbing, that sort of thing. So, I just wanted to mention that.
Anytime that's seen or transmitted, everybody can see your ID, and they can see who you are. You can see who they are if that ID is in your radio. So, if I could suggest that you learn how to update the DMR ID file from time to time, because there's hundreds of thousands of those things in there, and they new hams every day. So when you get a contact on your radio with somebody, say you're working worldwide, and it doesn't show you their name, just their number, that's the reason. That DMR ID file, it has to be updated because theirs is a very new number. Go ahead.
if anybody else wants to talk on your panel.
Yeah, that's a Roger. I ran into that issue, so that's something I'm going to have to learn because I can't send it to Bridgecom every time I turn around. It gets very, very costly. So, but yeah, I'll do that. But that makes a lot of sense. I was more concerned because K4MES is my vanity call sign that I got around the end of February, March. And my old call sign was KO4URI, so I was wanting to make sure it was displaying correctly.
Whiskey Lima Yankee calling. ZL2 Whiskey Lima Yankee. Anybody there?
It's working good, Mark. 7-3 sounds great. W6A away, clear.
Going good for you over there, Chatham. And, keep the shiny sign up. The 3UTG, the trim of it.
EPG ZL2 WLY. Jonathan. Good afternoon from New Zealand. 12:40 on Thursday afternoon this way. My QTH is a little town of Waverley on the west coast of the North Island. Back to you,
Nice to meet you, Maurice. I'll or something like you mentioned. I'm down just right outside the state of North Carolina called Elizabeth in Tennessee. We're in a bunch of mountains around here, so but yeah, it's been a pretty good day here. Current time is in. It looks like we got some rain moving through the area, and it looks like a lot of it can be downpours. My work's the YT MD380 to a 5-star hotspot. I've been licensed for almost 4 months now and operated DMR for maybe half of that. Of course, my first full month having my license, I touched night prices. I didn't even want to get on the radio. ZLWY KR4 DPZ, back to you. But any clear, no problem at all. All right, DWB, the 3MMX.
2WLY. Yeah, Roger, Jonathan. Yeah, that's good. Been raining and southerly front coming through here the last 3 days. But now we got a bit of sunshine today. We got 17 degrees inside and 14 degrees Celsius outside at the moment. I was just looking through your page here, Jonathan, and I see that you're a brother. You're a brother, my friend. I've been a member of the fire service for, not now retired, but I was in the fire service here, volunteers, for around 32 years. Over.
This from my computers, cell phones, is one kind of microphone we use. I'm getting reviews for it. It has a little thing. Maybe I can, just the hole in it is a little small for the mic, and that's why it sounds thinny. I'm not going to mess with it, because, I'm not an electronics guy. I don't want to take it apart. Don't want to take it apart, drill a slightly larger hole in it, and try to put it back together. It's going to sound tinny on my radio. So anyway, the V3 WV clear. So good night.
When I got up on my accident in high school as well, I felt like I could do it, but they would never approved to go through it. So I gave 15 years of my life volunteer to the community around here. But it was a good moment in my life. I learned a lot, done a lot, probably seen some things that other grown men and women shouldn't see, but the way I always told myself, if I don't do it, then there's going to be somebody else that's going to say, well, I can't do it because it's volunteer. So, it was a way for me to give back to my community. So I decided to go that route. KR4DPZ. Anyway, we're on the new 2-meter repeater antenna, so we'll see how it works. So far, it seems to be fine. I've done the distance testing. I've done all testing around here. It all looks good. today the bands were kaput, and I could hear it in Cambridge, so I think we're good. So we'll take the other one down, and I'll swap out the 6-meter and get that cranking back up there again. I'm going to move the UHF over to the other corner. It'll have a clear shot to the east, to the south, all around. It's gonna do really good for the repeater where it's going to be. So it'll give good coverage for everybody working the repeater.
Yeah, I quite enjoy this mode. So get up and edit down then. So I'll say 73 is making a little let somebody else have a go, and I'll try and put you on my log page here and see how it works. If it does work, you'll be the first one I'll put on. Well, I say I've had my license this way since 20, yeah, 2000. This one I got it through. We'll get there in the end. So I'll say 73, mate, let you go, and thanks very much for everything there, over.
Like the Eddie Tone 868 and whatnot, they have a mic level setting where you could actually, adjust that. So if you're the kind of person that talks 6 inches away from the radio, you're going to turn the gain up. If you're somebody that talks an inch away from the radio, you're going to turn the gain down. But it just offers a little more flexibility, I guess, than some of the other ones. But pay a few more bucks for them, too. But anyway, no worries. Nice cool night here, though. Got the air exchanger running full bore in the house right now, bringing in some fresh night air. And I'm out the shop, and it's 22 out here. It's not bad.
Yeah. If anyone's around that knows how to do that, I'd appreciate it. W6AOA, Concept Mobile.
Between microphone is like, I've got a standard USB microphone here for the computer, but the amount of gain that you can, input gain you can get out of the Windows operating system requires you to speak like 1 to 2 inches away from it. So I put on a USB microphone that's got a preamplifier circuit in it. Now I can talk from 3 feet away and it picks up my voice perfectly.
I hadn't talked to you. I heard you talking corrections. I've done it 30 years here in Tennessee. Retired about 10 years ago. But if I ever catch you on the Tennessee side, I'll holler at you sometime. KC4RS2, 73s.
I've given up on valve things, but like I said, that Quancheng, it actually has audio that compares to some of the better radios out there. So anyway, no problem. Anyway, tuned up a couple more duplexers here to the Guelph Club. I missed Terry this afternoon. I was going to get him back to him, and I think they want to work on that next week up there. But sooner or later, we'll get together. I may be going to Markham tomorrow. I'm not sure. If I am, I'll have to let Terry know. He's going to meet me on the 401. I'll drop him off. But good to see the Guelph Club firing on all 8, too. I think everybody's building repeaters. That's pretty good.
Well, it's good to see that interest in the hobby has picked up a little bit recently, because it was getting pretty quiet there. Nothing but midnight nights on Christmas Eve.
B6CIO.
Well, we're trying to do our part to liven up the hobby. I think we're doing pretty good so far. But anyway, keep building stuff and keep testing it, making sure it works. And as long as we're going up the ladder, not down the ladder, I'm good with that.
Kilo 8 Sierra Romeo Mike Sean in Cedar Run Drive in Black Lake, Ohio. This is VK2GAB in Sydney, Australia.
The 3MMX.
WA6XO.
Been listening for a while. It's Doug in Kitchener, and I'm just connected by All-Star this evening. I heard you speaking about audio, and I've got a new little setup here in All-Star. I've got it's called an All-Scan UCI 120, which is a communications interface that I've got my Kenwood mic hooked up to, and then plugged into Raspberry Pi into my All-Star node. So that's how I'm doing it, and it seems to be working quite well for me. Back to you. Yeah, well. Exactly, and it's not rude to do so. And yeah, I heard you speaking about the cheap radios, and many of them, people overdrive them at a very to a very difficult level to copy, especially on DMR. Some of the DMR, like the Baofeng DMR radios, they're chopping the top off the sound all the time, and they just totally distorted. So I try and do all right with the audio. I work at it a bit. And good evening, Ron. I'll turn it over to you. VE3 Quebec Hotel from Victor Echo 3 X-Ray Delta Bravo.
Very good. I'm over here on 2 meters now because, as usual, Mike and I wound up timing 10 meters. Anyways, yeah, very good. Yeah, I find a lot of the problems, and it's not just DMR. I found it on YSF, and I found it on D-Star as well, that people are using these very cheap Chinese hotspots, and the crystal oscillators in them are not very stable, and that's the root of most of their problems.
Oh, very good, Mike. Yeah, that's true. And you also have to know how to manage a microphone, like physically. A lot of people are swallowing them. I was talking to a guy the other day who said, I told him his audio was awful, and he said, well, I'm trying to use this radio on Vox, and it's only working when when I scream into it. And my response to him was, then don't use it on Vox, because it sounds terrible. But the Quanshang radio, I've heard a lot of very good things about them, and actually we almost bought some for the club here, but we ended up buying Ocean radios, handhelds. We ran a little project here at the Kitchener-Waterloo Club where we gave away handhelds to all the folks who graduated this year. So we had 15 new graduates. And then we offered the same radio to our members at a discounted rate. And we ended up with about 50 of them now in the hands of club members. So the intent is to get our repeaters a little bit busier. We have 3 really good repeaters here, and we want to get them a little bit active. And I agree with your Bob Howe comments. He actually presented to our club a couple of years ago. Well, no, more than that. During the pandemic, and it was a very interesting presentation. Anyway, back to you, Ron. Victor Echo 3 Quebec Hotel for Victor Echo 3 X-Ray Delta Bravo.
3XTV from GA3Q and back on 50 years now. Yeah, very good. Well, I don't know. I mean, like handhelds do have a purpose, but I don't know whether they're all that wise a choice as the first radio for a new ham or not anymore. There's a lot of people living in fringe areas, and handhelds just don't cut biscuit.
Charlie, I think I'm standing by listening.
Handhelds are fine. Like when you're say in London, if you want to work any of the London repeaters with an HT, you're probably fine. You're within 5 kilometers of all of them. Sometimes we have people wanting to work this system from London on an HT, and 9 times out of 10 they get in okay, but sometimes they don't. But we're over 20 kilometers out of town, so that changes it. But Doug and Terry, the 3NSB brought over a duplexer. I tuned it yesterday for the 147-315 repeater that's in Kitchener as well. So yeah, you guys have some repeaters. Good to see you have some activity there with new amateurs. Yeah, fire them up on. The good thing about the Quantities, the audio is good. You don't have to tell them to repeat anything. Those darn valve things, a bunch of people got them around here, and you're like, what are you saying? You get a little bit of weak signal in there, and poor audio, and it equals no communication on FM. So those Quantities, they have plenty of audio. The 3XTV, the E3MMX.
KD2 with you, Abe. You're loud and clear. KD6, CIO. Roger, the Adobe, Roger, this is ZL2WLY. Coming through the New Zealand loud and clear, 519 this way.
Enter frequencies of a hotspot with Islands Radio. Thanks for your feedback.
252 Whiskey 5 Yankee, here it is. Yankee Golf number 3, Bravo Radio Bravo. My name is Todi. I'm transmitting from Indonesia. Good morning over there, my friend Maurice. Go ahead.
You're trying to check on if you have a minute. 3 Bravo Radio Bravo. This is ZL2 Whiskey 5 Yankee. At 12:58 p.m., 12:58 p.m. on Thursday afternoon, this way at the moment, 30. It's getting overcast again and probably having some more showers. But this morning been beautiful weather after the southerly front that came through. For the last 4 or 5 days we've had that. But anyway, we're getting there. But back to you, ZL2WLY.
Hey, 73 guys. Thanks for letting me jump in. I was just listening in, and I saw you active on All Stars, so I thought I'd say hello. But I was just listening in and heard you talking about audio, so it's one of the things that I'm interested in. Anyway, 73 guys, and Mike, I really appreciate your system. It's great to have it, and you know what I'd love to do someday? Another discussion. I'd like to set up an All-Star, 401 corridor from like Kitchener to Windsor, where we could, have repeaters all the way along and connect them all up by All-Star or something, and that'd be a great project. Anyway, I'll let you run. Victor Alpha 3, Quebec Hotel from Victor Alpha 3 X-ray, Delta Bravo.
Guys, I'm right of the 70th, handheld into a hotspot, sitting out on a bench in the other room, and that's how I'm getting out. So we have a temperature of 17 degrees Celsius inside here at the moment and 14 outside. It's not bad weather today. It looks like showers coming. Okay, so we'll say 73's Dodie, and I'll let somebody else have a go, and we'll catch up with you some other time. I'll put you on the log here and see how we get on. Okay, my friend, 73's now. Cheers from New Zealand.
With the system, we've got 14736 up by Petrolia. That covers just as you come out of Windsor, you're into it on the 401. And that's RF linked back to Shedden. And that Shedden system, the UHF, is RF linked over to the 146925, which covers down to Milton. And you can work that Kitchener, Waterloo, well, all over the place, the 925. That's a strong repeater. And then the other one is the OBP Hamilton machine they bring up on here via All-Star throughout the daytime. That expands coverage way the other side. But one thing I will correct you on, yes, you can work the world with an HT on this repeater when the 10-meter band is open. In fact, there's a YouTube video posted by Tracy in Burlington. I did a podcast, and it says, work the world from your HT. That's through 10 meters. Anyway. 7-3, Doug, D3 MMX. 73 guys, yeah, thanks so much. I actually worked a station in the Netherlands one day. I was listening here, and it was last year, and you were on 10 meters, so that was fun. Anyway, 73 guys, thank you so much. This is VE3XTP, I'm clear.
Kilo Juliet 7, Papa Tango, Ronald, in Kingman, Arizona, USA. This is VK2GAP in Sydney, Australia.
Good morning, Alfred, CK2GEP. Good morning, how are you today, my friend?
Refers to somebody who was here another station, if so, go ahead.
Yankee Golf 3, BRB, good morning to you, Dodie. Nice to hear you again this morning. YG3 BRB, VK2GAP. And I say good morning because it is Thursday, 11:02 a.m. local Sydney time. Dodie, good to hear you, my friend. YG3BRB, VK2GAP.
You're okay, very nice, my friend Alfred, CK2GEP. It is very nice to meet you this morning, my friend. The day will be not complete when I didn't listen to your voice, my friend. Anyway, my regard to you and your family there in Sydney, Australia. Hoping that everything running well over there, my friend. In Surabaya, it is a little bit rainy. The time exactly, it is now 8:10 in the morning. Even it is now already dry season, but we still have rain almost every day, even not quite hard, something like that, my friend. At the moment, I'm running with a toy. Actually, it is not a radio. I'm very rare using this equipment. It is M1TA. So tell me a little bit about my modulation over there, my friend Alfred. Go ahead.
Okay, Dodie, good to hear you, my friend, in Surabaya, in Indonesia. And I hope you're having good weather over there. Here, it's very overcast, and it is drizzling rain from time to time in this area. Anyway, Dodie, good to hear you, my friend. And I will say 7 degrees to you. Nice to make the contact with you again from Jembangan in Surabaya, Indonesia. 7 degrees, Dodi. Good to hear you, my friend. Cheers. YG3BRB, BK2GAP. We've got a constant connect with you and in Surabaya with VK2GAP. Go ahead, Dodi.
Going around the road and whatnot, while you got all sorts of different people doing their thing, and well, we found that you're radio for sure, and I'm sure there's people midnight and beyond, but anyway, it's all good. Like I said to Marshall when we kind of got back together again after a few years of, doing our family stuff. Too much talent's going to waste here. We gotta get things fired up, and boy did we. But it's all good, and all the local clubs and groups around here seem to be, picking up a little dust here, and that's all good. I hate to see things go quiet and go dead. We're still able to get on and chat, and fortunately I can still climb. So as long as I can climb, there's going to be new antennas going up.
You and your family, Dodi. Cheers, mate.
73, my friend Alfred. Bye-bye.
Get up there, Ron.
Watching the documentary here about Stonehenge, and it's all the theories that people have about the place are nuts. And the only way to ever possibly determine what the place is actually used for, you'd need a time machine.
Kilo Delta X-ray. This is VK2GAP in Sydney, Australia.
You certainly see some guilty football cities, like cities buried underneath Antarctica, just like that.
In Brazil, this is VK2GAP in Sydney, Australia.
Fire off their nukes and burn the earth up, and then there'll be some evidence left of us, and 500 years later someone will see that too and say, "Why those stupid humans, look what they did." See.
VK2GAP, VK2GAP, ZL3WLY. Anything about there, Alfred?
Cool. And I don't know look what's happening now. I mean, it's a power struggle with us too, where another country wants to steal our country to help pay down the debt they incurred. We had nothing to do with that because we're not in charge of it. Whoever thought that it would get to that, where someone said, we can't pay the debt, so we're going to steal another country's assets and use that. I mean, it may sound weird, but it's true. And, what's next is what I worry about.
Sydney time in Sydney, Australia. And the signal report is 5 and 9. And the retrievers, the radio I am using is the retrievers handheld, the RTTS, the usual radio anyway. I've got a Bowfang as well, but I seem to like this type of radio. The record is handheld, the RTCS. And the weather at the moment is overcast here and raining too. So there you go, Maurice, in Jemison Town, New South Wales, Australia. Over to you, my friend. ZL2WLI, VK2GAP in Sydney, Australia.
But all these false accusations and garbage going on, I hope that it settles somehow and we can resume being back to fair and square with each other, but never saw anything like it. Never thought I would either. See somebody openly lie so much. But, well, you see what happened to Newsmax. They lied their faces off. 67 million. And like I say, Mike Lindell, Rudy Giuliani, both of them aren't worth the price of a postage stamp. They lied too.
10 in the afternoon. That's the way it goes. I'm also using a little Retilus. I guess it's the same as you've got, Eel. But they've got little radios. Yeah, 5x9, no trouble. 5x9, no trouble coming in there. The other gentleman you tried to get just before, he must have bounced off the wood or something. Something happened. But anyway, that's the way it goes. Okay, Elf, I'll put you on the logbook and all the best to you. And I'll stand by on the side here and never listen. Cheers now, mate. All the best to Australia and Sydney.
Mike Lindell, thanks for that. I don't know. I could probably name another half a dozen people, but anyway.
Wow, who says his microphone? KC16.
We checked this repeater info from there.
Thank you very much for calling me anyway, Marie Mo. Cheers to you, 73s, and it's great to hear you. I won't talk you in. I think we've had about 2 or 3 contacts, so I won't talk you into QRZ.com. Too many connections. So cheers to you, Mo. ZL2WLY, VK2GAP in Sydney, Australia, signing with you, Mo. Have a good day there. I hope it doesn't keep raining, but that's the way it is here. It is raining, but not constant. See you later, mate. Good to hear you. ZL2WLY, VK2GAP. Go ahead, Maurice.
I'm living history every day that I'm awake.
Watching the end. I think that's what I'm seeing. Anyway, I don't tell my daughter how bad I think it is because I don't want to ruin her spirit, but, I think people get an idea when you're being led down the road to owning nothing and being happy. I don't want to see her living in a box. I want to see her in a house. When I'm gone, this house is hers. She'll take over. Thank goodness I got something to leave for her. But if she's able to keep it or not, that's going to be a whole other story because the cost to keep it, the taxes and everything else are climbing rapidly. And, right now we're still above water, but, we're careful. We're very careful. I don't drive a new car. My newest car is 13 years old. We're just careful. You have to be.
Come on, Jerry. Where are you? N4IGM. N4IJM. This is VK2GAP in Plums Inlet. Coming back to you from Florida. And this is VK2GAP. Mate, we don't bite. We only talk. All right, Jerry. Have a good day. I hope you do come back anyway. You've only got 128 lookups. So I'll put it over to you, Jerry, if you're able to. N4IGN, N4IJM. This is VK2GAP.
I used to say at the end of something, you'd say, the party's over. It sounds like here, too. Maybe we're spoiled and we're all too fat. Maybe we shouldn't be, burning up as much fuel and doing what we're doing to the earth. But we have to have an alternative that works, that keeps the peace, that keeps things going. Yeah, Canada tried to be a leader in cutting back on, polluting and whatnot, but you can't afford to do that. The rest of the world will walk all over you because they're not doing it. So it's really hard to do. I get the good idea of it, but financially you'll destroy your country if you're the only one doing it.
From what I understand is the game plan is, you want to transition the country to alternatives, but at the same time you want to capitalize on the resources that you have regardless.
The waters, though, Ron, is taking a look at a couple of things here. First off, let's look at the COVID-19. Let's look at that whole thing. Why did people make money? If those vaccines were life and death, nobody should have made a profit. Nobody should turn over a profit. How come all these Bill Gates and so on made billions of dollars on these vaccines? So if it was such a life-saving thing, and we all really needed it to survive, there should be no cost above the wholesale price to produce the stuff. There should be no profits made. So that was all a hoax. I don't believe a damn word of it. Secondly, you need solar energy. We need to find alternate energy. Well, how much money is being made on all these solar panels? Why weren't they sold to us for trade costs? And I mean, not 1 cent made anywhere. The only money you're going to make to set them up and to dispense them, to sell them, is going to be recoup your cost of doing business, no profit. Because if the world really needs us to all use solar panels, why are people making a profit on them? I don't believe that either. So until you start giving me something at wholesale cost and act like it's something we've got to do to save the planet and provide me with the tools to save the planet without somebody making a ton of money on it, I don't believe a damn word of it. Believe AI as far as I can throw it. And you know why? Because it can be programmed. AI can be programmed to give you certain answers. It isn't just pulling the stuff out of the sky. Somebody's got a list of AI programming and likely algorithms. So when you ask AI a question, it's not just giving you an answer out of thin air or thinking of what the best answer is. It's going to tell you what it's programmed to tell you. And that's been proven. That's pretty clear. about 50% of the time, if you Google something and AI comes up with an answer, it's wrong. So until they can perfect it better than that, I don't believe it either. I don't trust it as far as I can throw it.
I don't know what the limitations of these large language models are. Depending on how you phrase your question, you can wind up with two different answers.
Yeah, I know. Well, like I say, that's a problem I have with AI. Somebody's programmed it. Somebody can program it to lean in a certain political direction. Somebody can program it to lean in a certain racial direction. Somebody can program it to lean any way they want. So if it's programmable, then it can be skewed. So I know what I see and I know what I hear and I know reality. So, it may be right half the time. The other half the time I'm right. So those odds are pretty good for me.
Mind you, this only applies to large language models. They all contain the bias of the specific person that programmed that set of instructions. But then you have AI that's used for different purposes whatsoever, like, say, audio processing or video processing, and the only goal there is to enhance what is already there.
Sierra 21 Alpha Charlie Romeo, Sierra 21 Alpha Charlie Romeo, Papa Uniforme 2, Alpha Uniforme, São Paulo from Brazil, over.
Will be manipulated well enough to make you think a certain way, make you do certain things, and that's control. And I think the human aspect is the best control you're going to have because it lets you make your own decisions based on your own intuitions and, what you see as reality. But anyway, that's what it is, but it's all moving forward. But anyway, other than that, just reset 10-meter manual here, so you don't have to worry about it dropping out. DA3QHBE 3MMX.
Pretty good. Just to illustrate the point, if you ask it a question, let's say that's pointed at something that you disagree with that Trump's done, it's going to present you with evidence to support your argument. But then if you turn around and you ask it a question and you show support for Trump, then it's going to give you an answer that fortifies why your belief that he's right is correct.
It's manipulated. That's the problem with it. It may not be with something that's factual, something that is real, like a mathematical equation, for instance, that would probably give you a proper answer. Because mathematical equations, things like that, can't be manipulated. They're actual rules, mathematical rules. But when it comes to swaying, or if AI thinks you're looking for an opinion on something, you're right. If you lean in a certain direction, it'll follow that direction for you. And if you lean in a different direction, it'll follow that one. So it's almost like a good friend that agrees with everything you say.
I think you find that a vast majority of people don't use large language models to explore whether certain opinions are valid or not. I think you find most people are looking up things like, how do I make a cherry pie?
debatable too, right? Because the flavor of 3 cherry pies could be different, and and 3 people would pick 3 different, cherry pies because they each have different flavors. So how would AI know? It could say the most popular one is this, but that's based on how it's programmed. What evidence was it given? So then was the evidence skewed? So if you have 3 manufacturers of a cherry pie, and AI, you say to AI, which is the best? Well, it depends which manufacturer programmed it to put it first. Kind of like a Google search. When you look for something, you pay the money, you get up front. So, again, it can be manipulated. It isn't real. Where the word artificial comes in. Treat it as such.
My name is Dodi. I'm transmitting from Indonesia.
Yeah, Yankee Golf 3, Bravo, Romeo, Bravo. I think it was. I thought it was 0. Juliet, upon Juliet. Good evening. Well, it's evening here. Name here is Jared, Juliet Alpha, Romeo, Oscar Delta. And I'm in Minnesota. How are you tonight?
Oh, no, you're wrong. And then you go down a few pages, you find the truth, and you say, well, why the heck was AI telling me something completely out to lunch? So I've seen it happen a few times now. But again, it's artificial. You can call it fake if you want. You can call it whatever it is, but it's a programmed response. And, depending on what it's programmed with and how it's programmed to answer your question will vary. Where people are concerned, they're pretty much the same thing. Where your senses are concerned, they teach you everything. And you can trust them.
Come up on 8:30 p.m. here on Wednesday night, so I'm just kind of winding down my evening here and just thought I'd turn the radio on and see if anybody's around. I haven't been on DMR very much. I haven't been on the worldwide talk group here in quite a while, so nice to hear you from Indonesia. Hope you're having a decent evening. Kind of late there, or maybe early for you. But, we'll be there. It's nice to catch you on here, and we'll see 73 and have a good day tomorrow. This is B0 PJ.
2 AIs got into an argument about something. Now you're starting to get more human. We knew it was in there. PA3QHB, 3MMX.
Radio, even our distance is quite far. We are living in different side of the world. Our difference time may be about at least 12 hours, something like that. We have been already on the future. It is now Thursday. You are still on the Wednesday over there in the evening. So enjoy the evening over there, my friend. Mariga to you and also your family over there in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. Then in this nice occasion, I will log you in the KRC.com, hoping that you can confirm. Back again to you, my friend Jared, as the final, my friend. Go ahead.
India Victor. Looking for a signal check, please.
So I found great here. I'm using an OpenStop 4 Pro and motor R7. And I'll not getting towards that there if I get a chance. May not be right away, but I'll certainly do that if you send me one there. So we'll send it to you and have a good evening. W0JPJ.
India Victor, looking for a signal check, please.
Robotics are one thing, humans are another. The good and the bad of humans is they can feel emotion and they can show compassion and they can show understanding. But the other side of that is they can be sinister and they can use their knowledge in sinister ways. And some of them don't even have a conscience as to what they're doing. Was there a character's full name? Very hardcore blooded or something like that? It comes in anyways. Have you been drinking? Where have you been? Shut your mouth.
GXK. So too. Hello, okay, wherever you can Jesus. One of the first times I ever saw a person have an off switch. That's a bad idea. He said it was and then he would just pull his mouth. Shut up, Stella. Shut up. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, good times. Some of those shows were pretty cool. The Next Generation. I was in the whole pile of their DS9 and let's see what else. Voyager. And then they had the newer version, which was, again, I think it was Star Trek Enterprise. Even back in, 69, 70, when that show was put together, they touched on artificial intelligence by having the two female robots, standing on either side of Captain Kirk, and he says they wanted to confuse them because these things were programmed to be perfect. So he looks at the one robot, they're identical copies, he says, I like you better than you. And he looks at the other robot, and they get confused because it's impossible. And that put an end to it. I think they started smoking and the battery shorted out.
Radio check. You're loud and clear. 5-9 all the way. In the eastern Pennsylvania. KC3WGN.
I guess the hit, the very first model that was produced, and it was a male, and it was, I think it was like the what do you want to call it, not the honcho, but something that was, the database, if you want to call it that. You would never expect that Star Trek. I still like the ending though. Like 9 of these ladies come out and start nagging the guy.
Where is that? KC3WGN. Very clear.
Even I found with Deep Space Nine, they had one episode where they had actually gone back in time just by accident using they had a big cloaking device on one of their starships that they had, and somehow they were going to beam down to I can't think of it. They were going to beam, but they were already heading to Earth because they weren't far from it. And they had taken the ship, and they were going to beam down. Oh, they did beam down, but they did not know exactly where they needed to be, and they were in 2024 at that point, and it was one of those where everything just went all haywire. It just wasn't right, and they couldn't find them. It's like time was completely screwed up. A lot of fun watching those. My brother, he went on to get his master's in science. He was a science freak. I was the electronics guy. And he loved Star Trek, so I used to watch them with him when I was a kid. And I thought they were cool. And now, when you're a kid, but then you grow up and you start understanding what they were talking about, they got into some pretty cool stuff on there. There was a lot of reality in that show. But anyway, I'll throw it over to you, Ron. BA3QH, V3MMF.
Memorable moments from the movies came from Cheech and Chong, to tell you the truth.
and coughing out smoke, and she looks at it and goes, "Smoke, there's."
If the boiler rolls over and dies, your vehicle is made out of fiber wheat.
We're about Maui Wowie. You hear me? I'm smoking. Yeah, you are.
What we need more of in life, especially at times like this, things that make you laugh that were funny. Yeah, so those are good shows, and yeah, Dave's not here. Good stuff.
Just like Adam Sandler, I kind of like stuff that Adam Sandler's done, but a lot of people think he stinks.
He's pretty good. I used to watch him on Saturday Night Live back in the 90s all the time. I thought it was pretty cool.
KC Oscar Hotel. KC70 Oscar Hotel. This is KM6MTVR.
He's old. I mean, like, I don't know. I didn't find the guy funny myself. I found that George Richards, or Michael Richards, or whatever his name was, that played Kramer. He was the funniest one of the bunch.
Kurt, Charlie Uniform Romeo Tango, Kilo Mike 6, Mike Tango Victor, and I noticed you're in North Las Vegas, and we're going to be visiting Las Vegas in a couple of weeks to see my son who lives in West Las Vegas, and I was wondering what your weather is like right now for next couple of weeks.
You got your audio fixed there. Good sound there, Norm. Victor Echo 5, November Kilo, V5 RJM. How you doing?
Every day of our lives. Not so much, but important to us. Anyhow, just come back in the house. I'll be back in a little bit. Carry on. Good chatting, Ron and Jeff. We'll be back to make fun of Star Trek again. I'll hand it over to you, Jeff, and Ron. We'll chat later. BE3 MMA.
Okay, sir. Yeah, I just was curious to ask. The other reason I wanted to make contact was because my son lives in Las Vegas, to make sure I know somebody in Las Vegas just in case. Okay, sir. I'm going to go ahead and log this on QRZ. Thank you for your answers. And we confirm contact. I'd appreciate it, sir. Back to you.
Exactly. 88. I think that was 84 or 85, somewhere around in there.
Yeah, obviously doesn't give us back, so he doesn't respond.
And this is KM6MTV, and I'm clear also. Have a good one, sir.
His note's working, it's just that he's not hearing us there, so otherwise he thinks he's probably a quiet system. But, yeah, I don't know. I should have connected to the test reflector, I guess, and then know what's going on if there's an issue. But, anyways, I'm glad to hear that he's got that note up and going. Sounds like it is. Just might need a port or two open. So, to let the audio go through. Anyways, when he first came on this morning, he was very hot. When I tried to talk to him there, I couldn't understand him. He was all garbled. So now his audio sounds 5x5. So good signal from him now. Anyways, I'll send him an email, George. B5 Golf Tango Whiskey, V5 RJM. Generally works from like 2 in the afternoon till 10 at night most of the time, so like I said, I didn't get to watch a lot of the programs that were on TV at the time. Connecting to expert line DE4AAP. Connected. The 4 Alpha Alpha Papa, the 5 RJM, go ahead, wait.
Hey, Randy. You think I'm 6 foot?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's full of me and all FIT there. It's been so long time ago now. Things in school are way different these days than when I went to school.
Yeah. Something off and on, so I don't know. Did you have your first to talk there, or was it cutting out there for you? The 4 Alpha Papa, the 5 RJM. Okay, I'm like, wait a minute. He didn't get anything like that with earphones. You had to sit down and actually write out whatever it was you had to write down. So I had to take down what was on the board. So I had to actually write it all, and you know, and it was just something I had to, you know, it was part of the course, whatever I had to take. I can't remember what it was now. It's so long from now. I mean, when I graduated in 1995, so that tells you that it's been 30, yeah, almost, yeah, it has been. It's been 30 years. So the repeater echoing going to your phone, it should be, you know, coming to full quality. Over.
8 grades in one room, one teacher, and that teacher has the ability to whack your butt with a cane if you've got out orders.
Present.
DE4AAP disconnected. I whacked her hand, and she was whacked her right hand, and she couldn't break with her right hand after that. And he was never correct after that. That was very sad. I felt kind of sorry for her, you know. So she was having trouble with that. She couldn't write with it, and she had to learn to write with her left hand. The Wi-Fi is tight. So, anyways, how you been doing? And wonder why you're cutting in and out there on excellence. Any ideas?
I couldn't the teacher in this day and age. Classrooms are getting to be too unruly.
A little bit sorry for my sister because she is a teacher. I think she teaches primary now. She was teaching grade 7 and 8 or something, or grade 7 or grade 8 last year. I think this year she'll be teaching whatever the primary number is. She's still in grade 2 or something, whatever. But yeah. I don't know. I'm sure she'll be able to retire in about 10 years less. Because she's been teaching for at least 20 of those years already. So she's, you know, she could retire in 10 years, probably. they'll be able to live comfortably. Not mine. He's my brother-in-law. He's allergic to here.
Yankee from ZL3 Fox Victor. Very good morning, Morrison. RJM PE4AAP. Yes. I have it on my phone, Randy. I just haven't used it for a while, and that was probably the problem here with the computer as well. It was probably me not operating it properly the way I should. Back to you.
Roger. Well, don't cut your chickens there. It might not be you. Wait, but number of things could happen there. But I was just going to suggest use your phone to connect just to narrow it down, see what the issue is. But I think Doug's an expert there, so we'll see what he has to say tonight. VE5 DCP, VE5 RJM. Go ahead, Doug. Nice